Alright, so we're gonna go toss some knives. Just an ominous feeling in this woods today. I don't know what it is about today, but it's just super hot and muggy, and it's really quiet. Gonna go off the beaten path a little bit. I know there's coyotes in this woods because I hear them howling from my balcony at night, but you wonder, like, where do they, if they exist in here, they must live in here somewhere and hide out. But then again, there's multiple woods in this area, so they could be hanging out in some other woods. I just hear them howling. I know they're here at night because I hear them howling. It's creepy in this woods today. There's just a creepy feeling. I never go down here, and neither does anyone else. It's like somebody made this. Kind of looks man-made. I've thrown at this pine tree a number of times, but as you can see, you look at it a couple days later and the sap's just pouring out. But again, your fingers get sticky, and so do your knives, so don't do that. Tree has the hardwood, so it's a major bounce back risk. Like that. It is good to throw at this tree for a few minutes though, because it does train you to throw more accurately, because you have to throw accurately accurately. You have to throw accurately to stick it in this tree because of the fact that it's a hard, dead, but hard oak wood. Okay, well, it's Tuesday, and I'm just starting my hike. Didn't see any of the any couples making out in here, but not today. But it's super hot, like really, really hot out today, like just a scorcher. I just love the sound it makes when it hits the wood. I'm gonna go off on a high note today. Wasn't getting a lot of the long throws today, the long distance throws, but I nailed a couple of accuracy throws, so that's good. So that's it for me today. I have to get back to work. All right, it's Wednesday. I'm out on my hike. Work was incredibly busy this morning, and I almost couldn't get away from my desk, but I always try to make it a point. I always do make it a point to get my ass away from the desk, get outside, get in the damn woods, get in the goddamn woods. Just, it's not healthy to sit there, pound away all day long and not have a break. And this break is awesome because it, you know, by getting out here and getting away from the desk for a while, for at least half an hour, 45 minutes, and getting out in the woods, getting some fresh air, come back. When I come back to work after this, it's like morning again. Like I'm fresh, right? So it's always good to have that intermission in the middle of the day and break up your day like that. At least for me, it's become a necessity. to go hunting for one. Why would somebody carry a half-burnt stump over to the middle of the woods? Almost. All right, time to head back. Have to get back to work. I have a meeting soon, and I have to clean up. But that's it for this Wednesday's hike. It's a bush party going on over there. All right, well, it is Friday. I'm on my lunch break and going for a nice hike. And I'm probably gonna throw some knives. Yeah, so I brought some different knives today. I have two sets of knives, and the ones I always have in my other videos, those are the ones I prefer and I throw normally. These are some other ones that I have, and these are from Amazon. Just bought them on Amazon, and they're actually made by Smith & Wesson, so you think they'd be a really good brand. I'm sure they're very durable, but the only reason why these are my second choice is because they're not very thick. You can see that they're pretty thin, which isn't great for no spin. It's great for spin technique, they're great, but for no spin, I like to put my finger on the edge here. For no spin technique, you're supposed to hold it this way, and then as you throw it, you glide your index finger off the spine, and to do that, you want the knife to be a little thicker. So these are quite thin. So I brought them today. I'm going to use them. I'll probably do more spin than no spin, but I'll try doing some spin with them. It's just when you release with your index finger kind of guides the knife away from your hand, and because it's thinner, you know, sometimes it ends up wobbling off the tip of your finger and doesn't glide off very nice. So you don't get an opportunity to guide it off your hand very well. Anyways, I'm going to use these today. Just thought I'd try something different because I haven't used these in quite a while. So we'll give them a try and see how it goes. Alright, so if this is the first time you're watching my videos, you'll notice that whenever I am at a new location, usually a dead tree, it's almost always a dead tree, but whenever I'm at a new location starting to throw, I always start off with spin technique just to brush up on it, and I try to get the close, medium, and far distances, and then after that I move on to no spin. Alright, so I got all my spin technique throws at the 3 different distances, so I'll move on to no spin now. I'm really not a huge fan of these knives. You know, I've been throwing with the other ones for quite a while. The other ones are heavier. These are lighter. The thinness, I just don't like the thinness of them. I like a thicker blade, but anyways, like anything, it takes getting used to. So these are Smith & Wesson Bullseye. And like I said, they're a lot lighter than the other ones I was using. When I was throwing spin with these, I didn't like it at first because I was used to the heavier knife. And I think for spin, I prefer a heavier knife. But once I started using them for no spin, I actually liked it. I actually liked the fact that they were lighter. Glided off the hand a little easier, even though they're too thin. If they were thicker, like Smith & Wesson, if you happen to see this video, if you make these about double the thickness, they would be great. And actually take out, also fill in this gap in the handle is kind of a pain. I'm not a big fan of this gap because when you're throwing no spin, the handle glides off your fingers, and it's not a nice feeling having your fingers glide off the inside of these things. So if they filled these in, made the knives twice as thick, they'd be fantastic. They would end up being a little heavier because of that, but still, they'd be fantastic. Alright, I totally take back what I said about the lightness. I like them a little bit lighter. But I still do not like this opening in the handle. That really bothers me when I release the knife. Because if you think about it, I'm holding it on the handle for some throws. Especially with the spin technique, I'm throwing it, and it's kind of, your skin is kind of twisting in the opening of the handle. So yeah, please, Smith & Wesson, please fill that in. Alright, so these knives, one big pro, one big con. The pro is that I'm nailing a lot of my long distance throws, which is great, probably due to the weight. But the biggest con is that there's a bigger bounce back risk. You can see that they're bouncing back about 5 meters from my target, which is not, it's obviously just not safe, right? So the bounce back risk is worse, but I'm a little more accurate with my throws. So these things bounce really bad. They bounce back like there's no tomorrow. If you have a bad day, there might not be a tomorrow. Alright, so we're at this guy again. Now I haven't tried these knives on that tree. This is a dead oak tree, the wood's really hard. Even with the other knives, I get bounce back, but these knives like to bounce back even more, so this should be extra risky. I'm just gonna be careful and be ready to dodge. So I got all my spin throws, now I'm moving on to no spin. You notice you see me checking these knives, running my finger along the spine of the knife. And I'm checking for pieces of metal that might have broken away from the knife. Basically little metal slivers. I don't want to get metal slivers. And I have had them, that's why I wear the Band-Aid on the finger. Especially for no spin, because my finger's gliding off. And you can get, if there's a little piece of metal that's dislodged from the knife, or just a little spur. Not as much of a risk with spin technique, because you're just throwing it like this, but the no spin, you're throwing it, it's gliding off your finger, you can get a piece of metal caught. So I'm always just kind of checking it, especially when the knives hit each other in the tree. If there's a knife already in the tree, and you've seen it happen already a number of times if you've been watching these videos, where the knives bang off each other, that's when the knives will get kind of scuffed up and you can get a sliver. So I'm always just kind of checking them to make sure that they're smooth and I'm not going to get a sliver. Alright, I'm going to move on. A great accuracy with these long distance throws with these knives. Like a very noticeable difference with these particular knives. I'm getting a lot more of the long distance ones. I think it's just because of the weight. But yeah, these are great for long distance. For me anyway. Honestly, I think knife throwing is a great thing for anybody to do. You don't have to be a certain type of person to do it. It's great exercise because it's not just throwing the knives that gives you the exercise. It's bending down to pick them up, because at first you're going to miss a lot. And it also just gets you out in the woods. It gets you outside, gets you out doing something. Personally, I found when I first started doing it, I found it extremely addictive, and I just can't stop. There's an element of danger, but you can buy professional knives, which are probably a little safer. I just started with the Amazon ones and I'm still on them. They're thinner and lighter and do bounce back, so that is dangerous. But if you want to eliminate that danger, just buy thicker, more professional throwing knives. And there'll be far less of a bounce back risk. So the danger factor reduces by a lot. And that's where it starts to get harder. And what do we have here? We have a colony of potato bugs. You find the craziest bugs inside these dead trees. I've seen some really weird stuff. Potato bugs are pretty common. Whoa, there's a beetle. But I've seen some giant grubs. Slimy, yet satisfying. Alright, well that's it for today, and that's it for the week, because today's Friday, and this is the last lunch break for the week. So thanks for watching me hike and throwing eyes on my lunch break. See you next week.